Hi, I'm Dave Rooney. I'm the creator of the Red File folder, and I'd like to tell you the story of the product and explain the origins of the name and the philosophy behind its simplicity. Back in the early 2000s, I worked on a team where we tried to keep our process and tools as light as possible, following the agile principle of simplicity. During development, when our testers found a defect, they would print a screenshot of the error and then annotate it by just writing down whatever was pertinent, such as reproduction steps, user interface effects, and any potential data issues. They would bring that printed sheet to us, the developers. We would often have a quick discussion, and if it wasn't something that we were going to just fix right away, we would put it in a red file folder in our work area. It was easy to see the state of development at any given time when the folder started to fill up because there were lots of defects. The stack of sheets in the folder was an excellent visual indicator of how we were doing. When that stack grew big, we needed to take a step back and fix as many as possible immediately. Now, when I say big, I mean 10 defects or so, because in most cases we worked from the perspective that we would fix most defects as soon as they were found. Some might live a little bit longer, but usually not more than a few days. We were able to stick with that approach for the 6 years that I was on that project and up to 20 people on the team, and it served us very, very well. The simplicity of that approach is something that I've wanted to maintain ever since. The COVID pandemic, however, created an environment where many people are working remotely or in hybrid situations now, and having a physical folder with actual sheets of paper in it simply isn't a viable option. So what I've done is created this product called the Red File folder, which is intended to reflect the simplicity of the original concept back in the early 2000s. The Red File folder is the complete opposite of the big commercial systems which contain everything that they think you could possibly need, including extensive workflows, a multitude of different issue types, and a host of other features that shatter the notion of simplicity. As a result, it's much harder to work with the application, and you often need dedicated people to administer the system to ensure data quality. The Red File folder is focused on defects and nothing but defects from beginning to end, top to bottom. It's intended to help you quickly and easily visualize the state of development based on how many defects are open, just like that Red File folder back in the early 2000s. The features are quite simple. The Red File folder has a minimalist interface with a clean, no-frills design that lets you focus on tracking and resolving defects without distractions. It's easy to use, being straightforward enough for anyone to grasp within a few minutes. If you can't, then tell me and I'll fix it. It's easy to set up, taking only 5 to 10 minutes, and without the need for extensive configuration or onboarding compared to the big tools in the market. It has only the essential tools you need, with core features for recording and managing defects and no bloat or unnecessary extras. And finally, the Red File folder has focused defect management. It ensures that only a manageable number of defects are actively tracked, helping you keep your software stable and your workload under control. But enough talk. Let's have a look at the Red File folder. Here we see the main list of defects, and you'll notice how uncluttered it is. By default, it's sorted by descending reported dates, so that you'll see at the top of the list the most recent defects that have been reported. You can change this sort simply by clicking on the header. By age, priorities, although in this case they're all the same, and status. You can also change the filters that you have here. We have some quick filters like new defects only, which all of these are. You can also do active defects only, which in this case we didn't have any. You can edit an existing defect. Let's say that we are going to edit this one by just clicking on the link. And that brings up our edit screen. Let's say that's priorities high and it's now active, and we are going to save that. And now we're going to work on this particular defect. If I change my filter to active only, you'll see the ones that are active. Now, we have one here, hide closed defects. Again, this is for uncluttering what's there. If we want to see defects that have been closed, again, we can look at our whole list of closed defects that exist. Typically, though, you may not want to see those. Just hide the closed defects. That will unclutter the list for you. Now, if we do new defects only, there's only 3 of them in the list. If you want to search or filter by something that's in the summary for a defect, you can simply type in here. Let's look for buggy. And there it is. Clear that. You see some there with test in it, and now we can see all of these. Simple as that. Right now, this only works on summary. At some point in time, we may set it up so that it'll work for the description as well. You can see in this one that we also have the ability to put in rich text, including attachments such as, in this case, a screenshot. From editing the defect, we can close it directly. We can print it, which allows us to go directly to printing, which we won't do at the moment. Go back to the defect. We can save whatever changes, and we can cancel. Creating a new defect, quite simple. You can see how original I am with summaries of a test defect. And we save. And you see that our new defect is right here. We're going to close this right away. We can either set the status to close directly, or we can just say close defect, and it's done. Now you notice that it's closed, and we can hide that. If we bring it back for a moment, we want to unclutter the list further. We can edit the defect. You'll notice archive here. And this is a way that if I want to no longer see this defect, say yes, and it will no longer come up on the list even with closed defects. This again allows you to declutter what shows up in your defect list. We can do a number of things with this list. If I want to hide closed, if I only want to see the active defects, which we have a couple, and I want to print that off, I can click on print list, and this will show us whatever we see in the list with any filters or sort order. Back to the defects. Let's say we want to sort it by the oldest ones first in terms of age. So 29 is older than 34. We print the list and it comes out in that order as well. Let's hide the closed defects. Actually, we can do all of them here. Again, let's look from oldest to newest. Print the list, and now you see all of them. In terms of other functionality, right now we have placeholders for reports, settings, and help. Those are coming. In the About section, a little bit of information, and a list of the latest updates that you can see what has been updated in the system. That's it. It's really that simple. Really that easy to use. So if you're tired of the complexity of existing tools, come and visit the Red File folder and try it out for yourself at demo.redfilefolder.com. Thanks for watching.